For 7 years, children disappeared from the streets of Atteridgeville, and no one came looking. He didn't hide. That's what made him terrifying. Johannes Mashiane walked the same streets as everyone else, nodded at neighbors, moved through the township like a man with nowhere particular to be. And somewhere between 1982 and 1989, he killed 12 children. Boys, young boys, strangled or stoned, and then left as if they were nothing, as if the township itself was a place where nothing mattered enough to investigate. He was right. For years, he was exactly right. The method was never random. Mashiane chose boys specifically, methodically. He would assault them, and then he would make sure they couldn't talk. Close, personal, a level of violence that said something about how completely he felt in control. 12 times he left a child behind and walked back into Atteridgeville, and the township absorbed him like water absorbs a stone, quietly, without a trace. But here's the detail that stays with you. He wasn't careful because he was brilliant. He was careless because he didn't believe anyone was looking. Atteridgeville, 1980s, a black township west of Pretoria, built by apartheid hands to house workers the city needed but refused to see. Matchbox houses, overcrowded streets, a community surviving under a government that had already decided their lives was secondary. When children went missing in townships like this, the silence wasn't just fear, it was architecture, designed into the system. Police resources flowed to white suburbs. Investigations into black community crimes moved slowly, or not at all. The township knew this. Parents knew this. And somewhere in Atteridgeville, Johannes Mashiane knew this too. He operated in the gap between a community's grief and a government's indifference. For 7 years, that gap was wide enough to disappear into. At some point, the deaths stopped looking like accidents. Too similar, too concentrated. The same profile of victim, the same method, the same geography. Investigators began connecting threads that had been dismissed, delayed, or simply never followed. What they were looking at wasn't chaos, it was routine. But Mashiane made one error. He left someone breathing. A boy, his intended 13th victim, survived. Left for dead, he lived, and what he remembered about that day would become the clearest picture investigators had of who they were looking for. One boy, one account. That was all they had, and it was enough to end a 7-year silence. In October 1989, police chased Johannes Mashiane through the streets of Marabastad. He didn't stop, didn't surrender. He threw himself under a moving bus. No trial, no testimony, no full list of victims ever formally confirmed, just gone. And that's the part that should disturb you most, not the way he died, but what died with him. 12 families never got a courtroom, never got answers, never got to hear their children named out loud in a room built for justice, because Mashiane chose to disappear the same way he'd always operated, on his own terms, inside a system that was never really designed to stop him. The question that remains isn't how he did it. It's how long it took, and how many cases like his are still sitting in a file somewhere, unresolved, because the victims lived in the wrong part of the city. Stay with me, because this case goes deeper than one man.